Hello, everybody. This is Eric Erdman, and you're listening to another episode of Dealing the Mobile Sound. We are recording here in the green room of Callahan's Irish Social Club, and today we have a very special guest. As we've talked about many times on the podcast, we have this beautiful, very fertile and vibrant music scene here in Mobile, Alabama, and obviously that cannot happen in a vacuum. You have to have supporters, you have to have people that champion the music, and you have to have people that are willing to play the music for the listeners. And that is where our guest today shines. He's been a DJ, been a friend, just been a buddy for a long time, my entire career, and before that, which we will discuss.
Yeah,
my friend, Mr. Matt McCoy.
Yeah, what's up, Eric? Man, thank you and Lynn for having me in here, man.
Absolutely, we're honored to have you, and we're going to dig and figure out.
Lord,
your opinions of the Mobile music scene and how it has shaped and formed over the years, and when you came into it. So, as you can tell, you're sitting at a poker table because that's what we have here in the green room.
I love it. I like this. This is kind of cool. I've lost money at places like this.
No money will be involved today. No money.
Good, because I don't have a whole lot.
This is a metaphorical poker game. So we're going to turn this interview into a poker game. And so to start it out, we're going to say ante up and tell me about when you first got into radio, or when, music in general, and then when you first got into the Mobile music scene specifically.
I can do both. So this is my 35th year.
Yes, baby.
Which is crazy.
Veteran.
That's right. The OG. I did not pick radio. Radio picked me. I tell people that all the time. A lot of people don't realize this, but I actually got accepted to pre-med, and I was going to go to Gannon University, and I did. Way up in Erie, Pennsylvania. I took one calculus course. It was intro to calc, Eric, and I immediately dropped into communications because I was like, I ain't going to make this.
So radio didn't choose you. Calculus unchose you.
Heck, yes, calculus unchose me, brother. Well, you have no idea. Oh, man. And it was really funny because at that time, there was an opening on the morning show at the college radio station. And who wants to get up at 6 a.m. as a freshman in college and do a radio show? And I was like, I'll do it. So myself and my fraternity brother, it was Matt and Mike in the morning. And we just got on and we would just talk about, it was just like you and me talking right now. And it was an alternative format. It was Energy FM 90. So
Energy FM
90. So we would just riff about things that were going on and play some REM and play some Smithereens and play some Sinead O'Connor, and all the They Might Be Giants, all that stuff, dude. That was the start of it. And then a local station heard me and they brought me on part-time. But it was funny because it was an oldies, adult contemporary station, totally the opposite from alternative. So while the morning guy was out one time on a live broadcast, he kept calling in, and every time he called in, I was somebody different. Like I would answer the phone.
Oh, you just had different
personality voices and stuff. Like he would call up and I would be like Sylvester Stallone. I'd be like, "Hey, yo, how you doing? Hey, are you out there? But people coming by, what's going on?" So and then he would call and I'd be like Sean Connery and be like, "Hello, Junior. Thanks for calling. I appreciate that." That kind of thing. So he was like, "Dude, you are a mess, man." He's like, "Why don't you do the morning show? You could be like our fourth wheel stunt guy." Yeah. So they would dress me as Cupid, and one year they dressed me as a groundhog, and I came out of the tunnel at Maltasia golf course. Just everything, man. I did all that. So I did that for 3 years while I was in college. I graduate. My first job offer was at Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to WACT. And I was like, I'm going to pack up for those of you who don't know, I am from Beaver, Pennsylvania. So I've never been down south outside of just visiting Florida. And that was it. Packed up the truck, moved to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and started my radio career. So there's the first part.
Oh, so awesome. Well,
that's the first part of it.
Well, one of the things that we've talked about a lot on the podcast and is how diverse the mobile music scene is. And that I have theories on why I think that is, mainly because for hundreds of years, this has been a port city. Well, it's always been a port city, but for hundreds of years, you've had a very eclectic group of people, because that's what a port city would have.
Right.
So
people coming in and out. Yeah.
While you have so many different cultures, you're going to have also many different tastes in music, right?
Like and a lot of different influences coming in too.
Right. So I wonder for you, as well, from your voices and from being all the different characters, obviously you're diverse, but you've gone from station to station to station. So you've also had a very diverse, relationship with a of the diverse amount of music styles
and different people in different parts of the country too.
So there's no right answer to this or wrong.
Okay,
but do you notice
there's going to be a quiz? I would not have come.
Is there this is not calculus,
Okay,
but
thank God.
the difference. Do you notice when you came here to Mobile, was it noticeable that the original music that was coming out of here had a different diversity than say Tuscaloosa or
100%? I came here from Memphis. I was at a top 40 station in Memphis. I was at Kiss FM.
Okay.
And at the time, I thought I was going to Birmingham, which is why your band, The Ugly Stick, leaving Birmingham. That's why that's one of my favorite songs of all time, man. Because I tried 3 different times to get there, and 3 different times the fates said, you do not need to go to Birmingham. I got the job finally after the 3rd time interviewing Eric for this job. I'll answer your question, I swear.
Oh, you're good.
That's what happens when you get like ADHD. I'll get around to it eventually, right? But I got accepted for the 3rd time I interviewed in Birmingham at 107.3. They're like, you know what? Why should we give you this job? I said, because in the past 5 years, the only consistency you had is me interviewing for this job. So they said, okay, cool. They're like, you're hired. We got you, right? This is how I came to Mobile. The day I was supposed to go sign the contract, it was an iHeart station, and they fired the entire staff of upper management. Gone. So everybody that I had made a contact with, everybody that I had made this plan with, were gone. And there was no one there. So there was nothing to sign. 2 hours later, I had sent a tape with a guy by the name of Alan Burns, who was a radio consultant down in Perdido Key, right? I told him things were not going well in Memphis and that I wanted to get out. And he said, well, I'm going to the National Association of Broadcasters convention in San Diego. He's like, we're to do this thing about morning shows. He says, give me a tape. I'll bring it. We'll play it. Well, you know who was there? Was Bernie Dittman from WABB.
Oh, nice.
Bernie Dittman and Jay Hastings were there. So they heard the tape. 2 hours after everybody gets blown out in Birmingham, I get a call from them saying, hey, do you want to come to Mobile, Alabama and interview for WABB? So this is where I was supposed to be. So yeah, coming from Memphis, where they have a really good
Memphis
music scene, is amazing. But Mobile at that time, we're talking early O's here, right? I mean, I came either 99 or 2000 is when I first came here. That's when it was you, Farfletcher, Bombadad, Night of the Iguana, all of that. I mean, it was
Day of the Iguana. Yes,
Day of the Iguana. Sorry,
no, you're good.
Night of the Iguana. Day of the Iguana.
Well, that's a movie, Night of the Iguana.
All those bands were just popping off. And I mean, do you remember downtown? That's when downtown was exploding. There was like a club in every place.
Yeah, well,
there were different people playing every night. It was awesome.
Well, that's part of the things we've talked about a lot with the songwriters and the performers on the podcast, is that I think the fact that there are so many live music venues here, I mean, obviously it allows someone who's cutting their teeth to have the opportunity to make a living at it, which clearly for any industry, that's going to be, people will gravitate to it. And it'll also give you opportunity to get the chops, even if the quote unquote music industry, there's not a lot of record labels here that are going to propel your career to the next level. You may have to go somewhere else historically.
You know this.
It's changing over time, but I'm saying for decades. This. But having traveled around, not a lot of cities, especially cities this size, have that many places you could play. If you wanted to play 3 times a day, you could do it.
Oh, you could do that. Oh, here in Mobile. Oh, absolutely, man.
And unfortunately, many of us have.
That's true, man. I've seen you everywhere. I think I've seen you at every venue.
I don't know if you even know this, but early on in the career, I was playing a band, I was playing solo, I was writing songs, all this stuff. And I was playing on Dolphin Street, and it got to the end of the night, and I literally was just bored, and I had to kill like 10 more minutes before the thing was over and the gig was over. And there was about 8 people in there, but I knew half of them were from my neighborhood in Dolphin Island Parkway.
Okay, so they had your back.
So I was like, well, I got to kill some time. So I just started literally just picked randomly 2 chords and started playing 2 chords.
D.I.P. song.
And then I started I just freestyled it. I literally was just like, yeah, Tremere Park. This, all the things I know from
Beaver Club,
and they were
Cowboy
like,
Kick.
oh yeah, they were like crazy for it. And I was like, cool, all right. And I remember while I was singing it, I was like, oh, this is kind of a nice rhyme. You can take me out the Parkway, you can't take the Parkway out of me. If you ask me where I'm from, I bet I say D.I.P. Okay, cool. It rhymes. It's simple. That's good. Put a bow on it. Cool. Left. Never thought about it again. Because I would freestyle about other things if other people were in there.
Right. No, that was one of your things.
So the next night, they come back with like 10 more people, and they're like, do that D.I.P. song. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. That's not really a song. I was just making that up. And they were like, oh. And they're like, well, just make it up again. So then I was like, well, I remember the 2 chords, and I remember that D.I.P. part at the end. So I was like, made up a completely different, every word of it was completely different.
Awesome.
Then the third night, y'all came down there and we're like, we have to have that. Like, this is it. And I was like, I have all these hundreds of songs that I've written, but I want the ones that are
deep songs.
And they were like, no, this is going to be great. Come on the radio, come, and be on our morning show tomorrow. I was like, oh my God. I was like, Mom, I'm going to be on the radio. Like I've been playing music, but I was like, I've never been on the radio. And in my head, I just have the vision of like every movie. I haven't been in a radio station. I'm imagining the egg crate walls and the all the things and all the stuff.
Well,
and
you weren't far from it.
Hold on, though.
There was carpet on the walls, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because you were like, be on the show, and we're like, cool. And then in the morning you went, oh, we meant to tell you, we're not in the studio this week. We're on location on the roof of the Walmart.
Oh, we were collecting toys for Tots. That's the first time.
So my dreams of being in this recording studio, I was like, well, I'm still on the radio, but started at the roof of Walmart, and it's all downhill from there.
Man, dude.
I will have to say, and I don't think y'all knew this, I just literally didn't have the words that time either, and I just knew that part, the chorus part, take me out the parkway, can't take the part, and just made up yet another version and just played that for you. And then once it was on that, I had to go listen to it
and get the words down,
learn whatever I just made up on there.
Insane. I did not. When we have two versions of it,
right? Well, after it became so popular that the band went in and recorded a version too.
We have an acoustic version, and then we have the produced version you guys did. We have two different versions of it. Is the acoustic the original?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
The version I did for y'all is
that's awesome.
It's the original,
dude.
And I often joke because now I've written 1,500 songs or something, and whatever. And I was like, that's the only one ever that never involved a paper and pen. Like it was just. Yeah,
dude, I love the D.I.P. song, and you can too, because I'm gonna put it up on eBay later because it's the only copy we have. acoustic, so contact me, Matt McCoy.
Anyway, that didn't mean to run down that rabbit hole. No, when I had you in here, I'm like, I
had no clue. I had absolutely no clue.
Yeah,
but that's the great thing about songwriting and music in general, and that's the cool thing about being in this business for 35 years. I do a show on 96.5 The Crowd, which is classic rock and blues.
Yep.
And I never intended to do that show either. I came on at 92 Zoo as a fill-in guy and to do promotions and marketing for him. And Tim Camp came up to me and he said, hey man, we got this classic rock and blues show and these people want to advertise, but we won't have anybody on it. I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? And he goes, well, I don't know. He's like, can you do like a midday show? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he goes, but you can't be you. And I was like, what do you mean I can't be you? He can't be like, hey, everybody, it's Matt McCoy. He's like, they won't like that at all.
You have to be Sean Connery.
He's like, yeah, exactly right. Yeah, absolutely. No, he's like, you have to back it off a little bit. He's like, so give me a concept. What do you want to do? And I said, what if I did this? What if I did stories behind the songs, how the songs came to be? Cool. Classic rock songs that everybody knows, but do you know how they really came about? And the way you just described the D.I.P. song, so many iconic rock songs. I mean, iconic rock songs from like Zeppelin to Floyd and up happened the same exact way. I mean, that same exact way. Guitar string broke. They were trying to tune it. Talk about the Guess Who doing a small club in Canada for about 20 people. Guitar string broke. Well, back then you didn't have other guitars.
Yep.
You had to string it. So literally Randy Bachman is on stage with his guitar going dun-na-na-na-na-na, and then going on a piano, dun-na-na-na-na-na, trying to tune it. And they notice everybody's heads are bobbing. So Bert Cummings jumps up there on the microphone. The drummer jumps in. He's like, what are you doing? They're like, they're liking it. Keep going. And he was like, what do I do? He says, say some lyrics. I don't know. Say something. And earlier that night, they had been talking about how American women scared them because they were so aggressive. So if you go back and listen to American Woman, that's what it is.
It was just made up.
It's not pro-American at all. I mean, if you listen to the
but
just how you described, that's how that song came about. So
amazing.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Well, I mean, the D.I.P. song is in no way American Woman in quality. In my best,
it's close in this area.
But it did.
I bet people can sing it. I bet people can sing it just as much as that one.
Maybe.
I tell people all the time, Eric, I'm gonna sound like I'm pandering here, but this is the truth. Whenever I have to go to like Naaman's Canning or something, I'm driving down and I'm like, oh, there's Parkway Lounge. Oh, there's a Zebra Club right there. You know, like it goes through my head every time I drive down there. So
cool. I'm glad I affected you in some way.
You have affected me. Affected.
All right. Well, since we're sitting around this poker table, why don't we get to the game? The first part of the game is the flop, of course. And,
yes.
So I would normally ask, a songwriter or a musician, like the flop would be a song that you thought would go over better with the crowd than they didn't. But I get in your case, I think I would like were there any of those voices or any of those shows that you wanted that you were like, this one is going to have, this is the one?
I told you, Birmingham, 3 different times I interviewed for that show, for the morning show, and 3 different times I got turned down. And I think I look back on it now and I think I wasn't ready. I really wasn't ready to host a morning show by myself at that point. And that it was a top 50 market at the time. It was 45 in the country. And I would have probably bombed horribly, but I didn't, because I never got the jobs, and I went other places and honed my craft a little bit better.
They saved you from the even bigger flop.
It really did, because I probably would have flopped. I really would have. I don't think the hand would have been too kind to me back then. It would have been really, really rough. As far as the voices and stuff go, no. But one of my favorite stories of all time was, I think it was more from inexperience, but my biggest flop had to be hosting the Comedy Zone.
Oh.
I'm 22. It's my first job in Tuscaloosa. I'm doing nights at a country station, and they walk in and they go, Big Al's High Tide Lounge is doing the Comedy Zone. Does anyone be the host? And I'm like, oh, I love comedy. I can do that. For you that are listening, hone your craft. Comedy is not just telling jokes. It's stories with punchlines. And I found that out the first night. I thought I would be funny and wait and act like a drunk guy who just stumbled up and got the microphone, and all I did was anger everybody. And I tried to tell some jokes, and they went over horribly because they thought I was some drunk jerk that was up there hijacking the show. So when I finally told them I was the host, they did not like me to begin with. So,
oh my God.
So I bring on the opening act. I don't know how long we're supposed to talk about this, Eric, but
no, go.
This is my biggest flop right here, man.
Please, God.
So it was Big Al's High Tide Lounge in Tuscaloosa, and there was Big Al. He was probably 6'6", probably about 450, big guy. And he had this real gruff voice. He talked, he almost sounded like the Godfather. He was very close to that. And he told me ahead of time, he's like, all right, we're going to do the comedy show, and then what's going to happen is we're going to have an intermission so people drink more. So after the opening act, tell people there's an intermission and they'll drink more and we can stretch this thing out. I said, okay, cool. And then he left because I didn't know he was also the biggest bookie in town. So Big Al left and he went to get bets, I guess. I don't know. So I'm horrified. The opening act does pretty good. So I get back on stage and I tell everybody, hey, man, there's going to be an intermission. Hey, thanks for coming. I know you hate me. And I sit back down. Well, the headliner comes up and he's like, Matt, you can't do this. I said, what do you mean? He goes, it's in the contract. We have an opening act to warm up the crowd. He goes, you have to get back up there and make everybody laugh. I said, did you see me bomb at the beginning? He said, yes, you were horrific. He said, but he said, I'm not going on until you get up there and make everybody laugh. And I said, I'm not going to do it. He said, it's in the contract. So Big Al, I go back and get Big Al. Big Al comes out. He's like, it's actually in the contract. You got to get back up there. And I was like, these people hate me. And I have to go back up there and I have to try to make them laugh. Dude, it was the most horrifying 5 minutes / 2 hours of my life.
That is punishing.
It was horrible. And I remembered a joke years ago. It was a visual joke. One of my fraternity brothers used to tell it at socials with the sororities and fraternities, and it killed every time. And so I told the joke and 3 people laughed. And I was like, here's your headliner. And that was the end of that.
That was your big grand finale.
That was the end of me hosting the Comedy Zone. And I have so much respect for what you and comedians and performers do, because there's nothing like standing up there in front of a crowd that does not like you and you still have to perform.
Oh yeah, I've done it. I've definitely played for the
Stop, please stop.
That's right. We happened so much we even made an album named after.
You did.
For those of you that don't know, my band, The Ugly Stick, we're playing I think we were
Bruton.
No, we were up somewhere. It might have been Little Rock or somewhere, and we were playing. And unbeknownst to us, the agent put us in a metal club, which we didn't even know anything. We weren't heavy metal at all. We were like
not even close.
Funk rocky with an acoustic guitar. It wasn't like heavy, which most people were still okay because we had a very tight band and we're doing all right. But but there were a couple of people that leather clad. That were not really feeling it, and one was this older lady, and she stood right in 10 feet in front of the stage with her arms crossed, like all the crowds is around her, but she's just giving me the death stare.
Oh, dude, God, you gotta look right at her.
And we play, and we're trying to play like our heavier songs, just to we're not trying to make everybody hate us, And she goes to the bar and she walks up to the stage and puts down a napkin that says, "Stop, please. exclamation point, exclamation point. And I'm like, it's just funny to me because I'm like, well, I mean,
can't stop.
Clearly we can't. I mean, just like you at the comedy gig, I'm like, I would love to right now.
I can't.
But it's like, there's a contract. And I was like,
play it till 2.
You think you're sorry we're not stopping. We also are sorry that we're not stopping. Anyway, you would think that would be enough, okay, your point has been made.
Right.
But I guess she thought I was, in addition to being horrible, also thought I was stupid. So because she walked back to the bar and got another napkin and wrote, and then she brought it back. I'm like, oh, who knows what this is going to be?
Right.
Expletives or whatever. She comes up and lays it down, and it says, please stop. As if I somehow didn't understand the very subtle message of the first one. Wait. I wanted to be like, lady,
over here. I feel this.
I got it the first time.
Oh, I feel that in my soul. I feel that in my soul.
Anyway, so we thought it was so good. We just took a picture of it and made it our album cover.
It is. It is. It's. I think it's. Is it Dale's Feet?
Dale's Foot by the pedal board.
The pedal board. Yep, I remember.
All right. Well, so speaking of the Ugly Stick and all of our contemporaries and people that have come before and since, in Mobile, there's always been a very supportive radio environment. And like you said, WABB, we wrote the morning show. We played a million gigs for you.
Yeah.
We were around.
We'd have you guys, Far Fletcher in. Yeah. I mean,
we felt like y'all are our family and our support, our buddies. And since then, there's always, as long as I've been around, has been the zoo.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't think of Mobile music without 92 Zoo. Like it's just part of it. It's as much, it's like another artist in the scene, if that makes any sense. Like it's just part of
totally makes sense. Yeah.
Part of the community or whatever. And you've been there a while, but like you recently are now the program director.
We lost Tim to cancer.
Yes.
Cancer last we lost him in September. A lot of people don't know it was his third battle with it. He beat it twice.
Huge loss.
Big loss. He was a musician, and that's why he was so passionate about the local music. Now towards the end, we made a move. We moved for the first time in 25 years. A lot of people don't know all this coincided. Tim getting sick. We moved out of our building for the first time in 25 years, bought a new building that was not radio. So the studios had to be constructed from scratch. You got construction, you got him battling a deadly disease. And we got away from the local a little bit. We really did. We stopped it for a little while because he felt like we just needed to circle the wagons a little bit. And now we're just now getting back to it again. We are now getting back to it again. And
I'm very obviously happy for that for a lot of reasons, but one of which is because like we knew you always could count on the zoo to showcase, all that we have going on here.
That's what we're doing again. In fact, we want to do, this is beginning stages. Maybe by the time, if you're listening to this podcast, maybe by then we want to have a show kind of like what you guys have done when you've done with the app where it's, all local artists, but we want to have a show, like a 2 or 3 hour show, maybe on the weekends or something, highlighting artists. And we're going to rebrand Area 251. We're going to call it Open Mic, and anybody can send us any submission, and
very cool.
Twice a day, we're going to play their song and give them some acknowledgement.
So great.
Yeah. I mean,
and as
to get back to it,
there's a lot of places that have great music. Again, we try to constantly say this. The point of this podcast is not to be like pat ourselves on the back or go like our team's better than your team,
even though it is
city.
New Orleans, take that.
No. But but there is something
down in New Orleans. They'll find me.
There is something. I feel like we have more original music here than a city our size should have, and I don't really know where that came from. 100%.
Well, I can tell you where I think it came from. You guys.
I don't know about that.
Well, we had that big resurgence back in the early 2000s.
There were
so many great. I mean, you had Wet Willie already before that, which excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, which had set the stage.
Of course.
Oh, hey, you can make it from Mobile.
Right.
What?
And Will and the Bushmen. They made it.
I mean,
but you're talking Wet Willie's in the 70s, and then you got Will in the early 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
then
like
you guys in the 2000s.
But but I don't know what made there be a huge crop up of original stuff, because I feel like there's been amazing musicianship here.
Oh yeah,
forever,
a long time. Yeah,
but
I don't know the answer to that. I just know that I know you guys, all the music scene at that time, inspired a lot of people, and I think a lot of people saw it and went, "Oh man, we could do that." And that's continued. Look at the Red Clay Strays.
Right, absolutely. Like, we're all proud.
I feel like we have a lot of local bands like Red and the Revelers who are on the same sort of path that they're on. And and you just got to keep plugging away, man.
Oh, and there's so many more. I mean, all of our guests on this podcast, you know what I mean? Like the list is deep.
And when I came in before, y'all don't know this, but Christy Lee did the podcast before me. I don't know how it's going to line up when you get it, but literally I walked in and went, oh, I got to be after Christy Lee. That's not right. That's like, I'm at the Comedy Zone all over again. God, I hope they don't make me sing.
Yeah, you got to sing a song. Sorry, and you also have to make it up on the spotlight.
Do I really?
Yeah.
No! I can't do it.
Just kidding.
I can't do it. I'll tell that joke again and walk out of here. Well, and I know we had the questions. You want me to go back to that or
no, we're good. We're good. But right now, I think it might be fun for you to, not to put you on the spot, but think about when you think of this blended style of Mobile music. Why don't you just think of a track that you would like to play that we can put on here that's like a Mobile area from any era. It could go.
There are so many, but I like one of the things I know at the end that you always ask in this is that you always ask, what's it? The dealer's choice.
Yeah, we're trying to get you to,
but I don't play. I don't play anything. But
yeah, that's why we're going to get you to pick a song right now. And
I used to, like, if I had a mission statement song, in my life, it would probably be "Life's a Dance" by John Michael Montgomery. Country, not alternative, but if you listen to the words to that, it's so true. And then I used to have, so that was like my mission statement in life. But I added a little something to it. I added like "Life's a Dance, you learn as you go, and if you get tangled up, you tango on."
Oh,
that was my addition to it. You just got to keep going. But then my like all time, and my kids know this. I'm like, look, something happens to Daddy, and I'm out of it. If you play "The Show Must Go On" by Queen like 4 or 5 times, and I don't come back, just pull the plug because I ain't coming back, because that was my song until a couple years ago. So I can answer your question, because this guy did the song called "Enough." How he thought he was going to make it big, and then he didn't, and then he realized, hey, I'm still making a living at this, and this is enough. This is what I'm supposed to do. And that would be you. So that would be the song that I would want to play right now.
All right. Well,
that's it. Enough. Listen to the words, people. Listen to the words.
Thank you, man. This is Enough by me, Eric Erdman.
Had to have the answers before I could believe. I was more in my head than my heart. When it came to taking chances or rolling the dice, it just wasn't in the cards. When my only destination was the finish line, I really wasn't going any place. I let my expectations and seeing black and white block out the view along the way. But I don't want to have to be sure, so I'm not gonna live like that anymore. No, I'm not gonna look down on maybe. Let's just see how it goes. No need to force guarantees. It don't have to be yes or no to be enough. Between the winning and the losing, every moment that we find is another reason left to try. And through the act of choosing, making up our mind, we guarantees. You don't have to be yes or no to be enough of the negativity, enough of feeling so empty, enough when I know what I have is plenty. So I'll say, let's just see how it goes. No need to force guarantees. You don't have to be yes or no to be enough.
That was enough.
By you.
That I begrudgingly played because our guest asked for it, but thank you.
It was either going to be that or raise the Jolly.
Black
Jolly Roger.
Yeah, Black Flag, White Flag.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Well, whatever. We'll let you pick a second song, but you can't make the second one my song. All right, so be pondering that while we get to the rest.
Okay, you got it.
So the next card in our poker game is the turn, and so want you to think about a time. Obviously, we know a little bit about your past now, where you came from and how you got into it.
Yeah.
But, as it was kind of faltering at the beginning and you knew you wanted to do it, but you weren't sure if you could stick the landing. Is there a time where you realized like, oh, I'm good at this and people are resonating with it, and not just like getting a job, but like when you did it and you saw a result from it?
Yes, actually, yes. I can tell you when that was. I was 26 or 27. I was in Muscle Shoals at WLAY.
Oh, yeah.
Great music scene up there.
Absolutely.
I know you recorded at Fame.
I lived there 10 years.
Yeah. And I was up there in the Quad Cities, and I was a program director for the very first time at 26 or 27. I had no business, especially for a legendary station like that. I had no business being the program director. Who was the boss? He's the guy that runs everything.
Yeah.
I thought I knew everything, and I didn't. But we did. We had a local VFW that was going under, and they came to us and said, "Hey, we want to do a tribute show. So what can you do for us?" And I was like, tribute show? I don't know what I'm doing. So I sent out things to Nashville to different artists and stuff like that. We were trying to get an artist to come in, and there was an artist who had one hit and saw that it was for a VFW and said, "I will come down and I will do this show." It was Toby Keith.
Oh, wow.
Toby Keith came down from Nashville. He was the headliner, right? We had a local band from the VFW open, and we sold out the Civic Center in Muscle Shoals. Saved the VFW. And I remember standing on stage. It was the first time that I've ever stood on stage with a packed out house. And I said, "Hey, we're, the staff from WLAY," and the whole place just erupted. And all of us on stage, I remember visibly, we all looked at each other like, whoa. Like
something happened.
They actually know who we are and they're here for this. You know what I mean? That was definitely my point.
For
I was
sure.
I was like, wow, we saved the VFW. He couldn't have been more just gracious for the whole thing. We didn't know what we were doing, I mean, and
so cool.
And then all those people came out for it and saved it. And I thought, man, this might be a good thing to do for the rest of my life. And it wasn't just for the music. It was just, we helped we saved something, that needed to be saved. So
that's so great. I include you in the like all the musicians with the extension of the radio people doing it. It's like a lot of times, like we don't always see the monetary reward for the work we do. So when there's an opportunity to do something like that to help, it's like, there'll be a line of people, musician and radio, shows lining up, not because it helps us, and it makes you feel like what you're doing it is a little
makes
bit
a difference.
impacting the world around you.
Yeah.
So it's like it's usually not that hard to find a radio show or a DJ or a musician to come play your benefit, because it makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you write a song and it goes in a shoebox, or you put on something and it's like, who's listening, who cares? And it's like, well, these 10 people care.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Today they do.
But then when you're in an arena like that and there's all these people, and
you
you're
packed
like,
out a civic center. That's a lot of people.
that was
care.
a lot of people.
You made
know?
a lot of people care, and Toby Keith care enough to drive down from Nashville.
100%, which he didn't even have to do it at that point in his career. He should have been a cowboy. He was way past that. But his dad was a veteran, so that's why he did it. And you guys do it every year anyway. We have the Locals All-Star Christmas Jam where we collect toys for the Child Advocacy Center, and all these artists come out and do it for free. Now, I know it's Christmas songs, it's not originals, but you guys do it every year. You don't do it for any money.
No,
you should see the toys that we get for kids.
It's beautiful.
Awesome.
I'm so thankful y'all do that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, we were talking, Christy Lee and I were talking, and a couple of other guests we've had on here were talking about, like, that's another thing, which, I mean, again, we don't have the patent on that here in Mobile, but but it's very evident that, like, it's a community, like we've been talking, but like everybody just wants to share. Like, it doesn't feel like a competition at all. Like, if you have a big show, all the other musicians will be there that are in town. If you need something, it's just a family, which includes y'all, and that's what that feels like, where everybody's just it's not a competition really, and it shouldn't be. And like I said, I know that's not specifically to Mobile. There's a lot of great muscle shows in Memphis and all those places.
No, it is kind of a unique Mobile thing, because sometimes there can be egos, and you guys, that's not it. One of my favorite parts of that show is just sneaking backstage and seeing everybody, because y'all don't get the musicians you don't get to hang out that often.
That's right.
So when everybody sees everybody, there's like magic going on backstage. People are like warming up and playing together and harmonizing and getting ready, and I'm just like, man, it's just awesome. I'll sneak back there sometimes, just peek in, when I'm not dressed like something goofy about to be out on stage. But I mean, Cupid, or it was an angel this year when I threw the glitter, which they're still mad at me at Soul
Did
Kitchen.
you repurpose your Cupid costume as
No,
an angel costume? Oh, you got a fresh angel costume.
I want to thank Temu for sending the medium costume, by the way. I'll go 2X next time I order one from Temu. That was embarrassing. It really was.
And Merry Christmas to you all.
But we have a great community here, and you guys are willing to do stuff like that, and that's what's great. And I think that is what separates Mobile a little bit. I mean, when we have to come together, look at what we did for Vern at Soul Kitchen.
Right. That was good.
You brought the Ugly Stick back together again, and I mean, not just you. There were so many musicians from that era who came out just to support one guy.
Yeah, it was just to help, because Vern's as important to the music scene. You know what I mean? Like, there's not as big. I think that's another thing. There's not a big separation. There's not the the police, whatever, the barricades. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. There's not.
He's the doorman at Soul Kitchen, for those you don't know Vern.
Yeah, but he's been like a brother to me since.
To everybody.
I know Vern. Everybody. So it's like, if somebody needs something, again, all it takes is a phone call and everybody rallies.
Yeah.
And not just the musicians. Like I said, the community of music lovers, they all showed up too. That's how he sold all those tickets and raised that much money.
Yep.
So it makes me proud to be part of this whole family.
Yeah, that's so when you say, the only reason I said all that, Eric, was because when you say, I think that's not unique to Mobile. There are a lot of, I think, cities that do come together like that. But Mobile really does, man.
Yeah.
If there's a party, we're going to be there. If there's something that people need help with, we're going to be there. I mean, I've been in some big cities where that is not the case. They don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of party, we are the, birthplace of Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And so, like, we always, that's the first thing we say when somebody says Mobile, usually. But
it's that and the leprechaun. Those are the two things we're known for.
Birthplace of the leprechaun and
Mardi Gras.
Of Mardi Gras. Do you hear that Mardi Gras kind of style? Can you pick it out? Basically, if you were somewhere else and you just hear an artist X you've never heard of, do you think you could hear like a little piece of Mobile Mardi Gras?
Yes, 100%.
They at least got a little of the Excelsior band on them somewhere.
100%, man. No, 100%. Yes. Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially one of my favorite times of the year is when Mardi Gras starts coming. We start sprinkling those things in our playlist on the zoo.
Yeah.
And it goes from galactic all the way to you guys, to Grace and Caps, to everybody.
Yeah,
man. All the Mardi Gras songs. And yes, I can definitely pick it out. There is a vibe to that particular music. And I think everybody in Mobile kind of perks up a little bit. You go, oh, is that the Excelsior? Is it the Blowhouse Band?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I know that. Is that trumpets? What is that? Yeah.
You hit it. It's more of a vibe than even sonically, but somehow you can just, it's got a fingerprint to it. Even if you're doing something like, Christy Lee, she's not Mardi Gras. You know what I mean? Like she's her thing. She's her blues and soulful and completely unique. But it's like, still, I think if I didn't know her as well as I do, that I would still kind of be like, oh, is she's at least from the Gulf Coast somewhere in that area.
I think you're right.
It feels like she's she's from around there. Anyway,
I can sense it. I can feel it. Yeah, no, I'm with you all the way, man.
Well, let's go to the next card, which is the river, and let's talk about. Let's just imagine that you're going down to your honey hole in the Mobile River or the Delta or wherever wherever your honey hole is.
Yeah.
And you get to bring any artist ever fishing with you. Who you bringing?
To those of you who don't know what a honey hole is, that's your spot where you know you're going to catch something.
That's right.
And you don't reveal your honey hole to anybody because people will fish it out and then it's not your honey hole anymore. I thought about this for a minute and it's going to sound interesting because it would be Ryan Pablo Foster. If I had to pick one guy, it would be Pablo. Since I have come to Mobile, he and I have somehow, I mean, it's almost like the moon and earth. Like we just rotate around each other. And even if we're not working together, somehow we end up working together. We worked together at WABB, as you know.
Yep.
He was one of the ones instrumental in bringing you guys in the first place because he recognized, his ear was amazing. He recognized you guys for having a great sound, the Ugly Stick. And then he left and then I stayed there. And then he went on to do some other things. And then of course, then I went on to do some other things, but I was DJing. And one time I DJ'd his wife's Christmas party and he came up and he goes, what do you got up here? And I was like, oh, I got this, that, the other. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just, it might have been 2 CDs at the time. I don't even know. I didn't know what I was doing.
I love you, man. You're doing comedy shows. You don't know what you're doing. You're doing DJ sets. You don't know what you're doing.
Throw me in there, man. Throw me like, I'll make it work somehow. But hey, it's like the zoo. We'll figure it out. But yeah, literally, he's like, man, dude, I would love to, let's do this together. He's like, let's get this right. And like, I've learned so much from him. And we made a pact with each other that he's like, if we ever get to the point where we think this is more work than fun, we'll let each other know. So he did that about 2 or 3 years ago. He was like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, okay, cool. Right. So then he went to go work at Zoo and I kept mobile DJing, and then he left Zoo and said, hey man, you should probably talk to them at the Zoo. So I came in after him at the Zoo doing that.
I did not know all this.
Yes. Now go down the road. We needed an anchor for the Zoo to help myself, Gene, and Tony out. And we're like, who can we call? And I'm like, I'm going to call the guy I always call and take to the honey hole, man. I'm going to call Pablo. And bam, now he's doing middays and he's back again. So, I mean, it's just like I said, it's like we just got
the band back together.
But the band was back together again, and he's such a great, and I know you'll know this too, Eric, every musician listening will agree. Different people in the band have different skills. And when you guys all come together, you balance each other out. So whatever you're lacking, like Dale would have, or Tim or something, you guys would all be able to overcompensate for each other. And we are the same way. I'm exactly how you hear me on this podcast. I'm all over the place. I'm crazy. I'm scattered. I'm here, there, and the other. And Pablo was very dot the I's, cross the T's. So, he made sure the sound sounded good and everything was good. And then I just ran around and made everybody feel good. So it worked.
Yeah.
And now in a different part for the Zoo, now we have to soldier on without, Tim.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to change that about myself, but that's really hard to do at this point in my life. So again, I call my best friend who I'm going to take down there fishing with me.
Great.
And say, you got to keep me on track and you got to help us out. And he's like, I got you, man. That's a friendship right there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's 25 years. Like I could call him tomorrow. Like if for some reason, if I ended up, I needed bail money or whatever, I could call him tomorrow. First he'd yell at me for calling him at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then he'd be like, how much is it? And then he'd come get me, He might leave me there for a couple hours to think about it. And then he'd come get me.
All right. So 2 questions. Who catches the most fish?
Oh no. See this, he could listen to this. Oh man. I think I get him on the fish.
Yes. All right.
I think I get him on the fish because he's too cerebral. He thinks too much.
Okay.
And I just will throw anything out there,
And the
Second question.
And the second question is, what Mobile song are y'all going to listen to that's not mine?
That's
the while you're fishing on the pier.
Recovery by Frank Turner.
Okay.
That would be the song we listened to. He came to me in 2013 when he was at Zoo and I wasn't there. And he goes, you have got to hear this guy, Frank Turner. And he's like, the album's called Tape Deck Heart. You got to hear it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, whoa. And he was like, I know. And that's been our guy ever since then.
Awesome. Well, why don't you set it up, DJ?
Okay. All right. Here we go. You want like regular voice or DJ voice?
You know what? You just do you.
Okay.
Well, DJ voice it. Why not?
You DJ voice it. All right, everybody, coming up right now on 92 Zoo, it's Frank Turner, Recovery from Tape Deck Heart back in 2013 on 92.1 WZEW.
Blacking in and out in a strange flat in East London. Somebody I don't really know just gave me something to help settle me down and to stop me from always thinking about you. And you know your life is heading in a questionable direction when you're up for days of strangers and you can't remember anything except the way you sounded when you told me you didn't know what I should do. It's a long road up to recovery from here, a long way back to the light. A long road up to recovery. Like every other day, and just like every boring blues song, I get swallowed by the pain, and so I fumble for your figure in the darkness just to make it go away. But you're not lying there any longer, and I know that that's my fault. So I've been pounding on the floor, and I've been crawling up the walls, and I've been dipping in my darkness with serotonin boosters, cider, and some kind of smelling salts. It's a long road up to recovery. Well, darling, let's make a deal. If anybody ever asks us, let's just tell them that we met in jail. And that's a story that I'm sticking to like a stony faced accomplice. But tonight I need to hear some truth in my mother getting through this. Yeah, you once sent me a letter that said if you're lost at sea, close your eyes and catch the time, my dear, and only think of me. Well, darling, now I'm sinking and I'm as lost as lost could be. And I was hoping you could drag me up and down here towards my recovery. Give me a sign, yeah, just a subtle little glimmer, some suggestion that you'd have me if I could only make me better. Then I would stand a little stronger as I walk a little taller all the time. Because I know you are a cynic, but I think I can convince you, yeah, because broken people can get better if they really want to, or at least that's what I have to tell myself if I am hoping to survive. It's a long road up to recover. This will all be over.
All right, man, that was so cool. Thank you for playing DJ for us for a second.
Yeah, man, that's people always do that. Do your DJ voice. I'm like, this is it. They're like, no, the D. I'm like, well, we don't talk like that anymore. And they're like, no, come on. Like, all right, everybody, I'll do it for. Oh yeah. Okay, all right.
Party trick, man. Come
yeah,
on.
it is, man. It is a party trick. It is.
See, you've learned over the years that goes over better than whatever joke that was.
Jokes I was telling the comedy stuff. Oh man, this is true. So we host a couple of bingo nights with the zoo. And on one of them, when we do B4, everybody says B4 what? And in honor of me bombing horribly for 4 years on and off at the Comedy Zone, because I tried to host it 2 or 3 other times over the years and bombed at those too. So I tell a really bad joke, everybody groans, and then we move on to whatever.
Keep the theme going, man. You know,
I've learned to laugh at myself. It wasn't funny then. Now it's funny.
It's an audience of one.
An audience of one, right? I'm like, I thought it was funny. I always my running joke is always when y'all are at home in the car, that'll hit you, then you'll think it's funny.
Well, before we shuffle up and go on to the next episode of our podcast.
Yeah, this has been great, by the way. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
doing this. Thank Lynn, and I've listened to the app. I have the app on my phone, and I've listened to it before, and it's like it's one of my guilty pleasures when, because sometimes in the day-to-day of listening to a radio station, you got to listen 24/7. I have it on in my house. I have it on in my bedroom. It's on in my office.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to, and it's cool to listen to your app too, because I'm like, oh man, Shelby Lynn, I haven't heard her in forever,
Yeah.
Listen more. Oh man.
Yep. So for those of you that don't know, Lynn has Mobile Bay Radio, if you want to check that out.
Yep.
And it's kind of a little sister project with their Dealing the Mobile Sound podcast. So you can check out music from all of our guests and more, all Mobile related artists or people from Mobile or mentioning Mobile. It's all on there, You can get on there. It's real easy. I can tell you the secret.
We use the SEO of Mobile, so it pops up in more places.
That's right. But before we get out of here and shuffle up for the next episode, it's time to go all in. So if you have to push all your chips in behind a Mobile area artist that you really believe in or think that they should be, more widely known. I'm not saying they're not known, just somebody you think deserves a little more shine.
Well, I think I already said it. I think I said Red and the Revelers. I think that
great choice.
I think that they have a very unique sound. I think the horns give them like an extra little something, and then Red has such a unique, soulful, I don't even know how you define his voice, I mean, it's just different. When you hear it, you don't, it was like you guys back in the day, the Ugly Stick, when you hear a Red and the Reveler song, you don't go, I wonder who that is. You know immediately who it is. There's no guessing on that. But yeah, I would have to, and they've got, am I allowed to talk about their new album coming
Sure.
out? They've got a new album they're doing April the 10th. It's called, I think Real Big Deal is the name of the album. And they're having a release party at Soul Kitchen April the 10th. And you can come out, get the album there. They're going to perform and make a big night out of it. So,
oh yeah, man. Absolutely. Yep. Great choice. Yeah. And man, Matt, thank you for being my friend for all these years, but also thank you for everything you're doing for Mobile music and continuing to do at 92 Zoo. And I look forward to all the future things you were talking about.
Yeah, dude, we got to get you to come in, and we're working on something where we're in the LA Lunch Hour with requests where we have a guest come in and we do their playlist. So we'll have to have you come in one time and you get to pick the songs. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I would love it.
All right, we'll see you there.
Thank you again for listening to another episode of Dealing the Mobile Sound. We really appreciate your support. Don't forget to go like and subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts. As always, thank you to Callahan's for providing the location, and thank you to Will and the Bushmen for the intro and outro music. Until next time, I'm Eric Erdman.